Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful morning here in sunny Southern California, and we are in what may be one of seriously, one of the most historic moments in world history. We are
well, yeah.
Let's talk about this. We are literally hours away from what may be one of the most consequential bombings and air raids that will happen in this war. We are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about Iran, in essence, literally blowing up. We are going to have a conversation about the ultimatum. We are going to talk about the text message of the President of the United States. We are going to talk about why it was not unhinged. I'm going to talk about the fact that although I don't agree with the use of his language, I absolutely agree with praise be to Allah, my brother. Okay. The interesting part there. And we are going to talk about how history would appear to be repeating itself almost exactly. Almost exactly. So, with that said, we know that there are some super chats that have come in and super stickers, and we will acknowledge them when we do our Q&A time, and we do appreciate them coming. Please bring them coming. We're very thankful for that. But we have a lot to talk about. David, tell us what the current status is right now.
We sure do. Okay, the last line in the sand, or dead line in the sand, I like to say it, is 8 o'clock Eastern time, United States, which probably would be something like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning in the Middle East, and something like 5 o'clock this evening, Pacific time. And basically, what President Trump's saying, it's over, this is the final deadline, and I will wipe the Persian civilization off the map if they do not reach an agreement. And that's what he said. J.D. Vance kind of watered it down a little bit, but not that much. And the feeling is that we're at this kind of final place, and he has all the military assets that he needs in place. What he is threatening right now is to blow up power plants and bridges. It's going to be the night of the power plants and the bridges. In very normal Trump style, what do you think? I would not be surprised if he says power lines and bridges, and he drops the Marines on the 3 islands in the Strait of Hormuz, which is basically what he wants to do. And so we're at this point where Trump has actually said, I'm going to do it, and his whole prestige is on the line. I mean, the prestige of the United States of America is on the line, and the pivotal point, I think, in world affairs is on the line right now, and it's going to go either this way or that way.
I think history is repeating itself.
Okay.
And I think most people are too ignorant of history to be able to understand the consequence of not remembering it or not knowing it. I think you have to go back to the year 1801.
Oh, all right.
I think you have to have a discussion about the President of the United States at the time, who was facing a massive dilemma.
You're talking about Jefferson?
Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah. Okay.
He's facing a massive dilemma, and the dilemma is this. The dilemma is the United States of America has no Navy. Not really. The United States of America is fatigued from the Revolutionary War.
Mm-hmm.
There is this hope on one end that a new world is about to open up a whole world of possibilities to Americans. And there's a problem that the Europeans are facing. And the problem that the Europeans are facing is that there are a series of Barbary pirates off the Barbary coast who are beginning to charge a fee. Now, we're not even going to get into the slavery aspect, because these were the Muslims that really were the biggest promulgators of the slave trade, just as they are today.
No, they were running the trades.
They were. They were.
Just a quick one for people. The Barbary Coast is the northern coast of Africa or the southern coast of the Mediterranean Sea.
That's right.
If you have the Mediterranean Sea, along the northern coast, the Maghreb, there were a series of Muslim warlords, for lack of a better word, that sat under the jurisdiction or under the protection of the Ottoman Empire, and they were doing whatever they wanted in that part of the Mediterranean.
Yep, 100%. And when you look at the modern day area of Morocco, this is one of the contested areas that we're talking about here.
Yep.
There's a passageway that would exist out into the Atlantic from the Mediterranean, and this was an area that was being dramatically affected by the Barbary pirates. And what did France do? What was France's solution? France's solution, the cowardly solution,
Pay them off.
was to pay them off. We pay them off, everything's okay. And actually, surprisingly, under the leadership of George Washington, in America, we did pay them off for a little while.
I think something like 2% of the GDP.
No. 20%. 20%, not 2%. 20% was given. 20% was given at that time. And at that time, and I want to make myself very, very clear, at that time, the pirates did what you would expect the pirates to do. And they demanded more.
Yep.
And so Jefferson saw the problem. And he was condemned by the world around him. Nobody stood with him. Everybody was paying their fees. They didn't care. They didn't want the confrontation. And Jefferson said, no, we've got to have the confrontation. As a matter of fact, it's interesting. Do you know that the United States Marine Corps
was created?
Yes, and they earned the name Leathernecks. You know where the name Leatherneck came from?
No.
The name Leatherneck came from, and I did this when I was prepping for the show today, when I was doing a little bit of history reading. The name Leatherneck actually came from the fact that the Marines used to wrap leather around their necks in order to keep the Barbary pirates from chopping their necks off.
Ooh.
That's no joke. So that's why they were called Leathernecks.
Ooh.
That's where the name came from. That's how bad of a time it was. And here we are once again. The cowardly French, oui, have decided to pay Iran $2 million per boat. $2 million.
The French have agreed to pay?
France has agreed to do so. $2 million for passageway through the Strait of Hormuz.
Has Spain agreed to pay too?
I don't know. All I know is that France has opened up the door for the precedent to be set. And the President of the United States, President Trump, is now in the same situation that Thomas Jefferson was in 1801.
By the way, Dickman, you're right. A Marine officer carries a Mamluk sword because part of the battle against the slave masters actually was done together with the Mamluks that were based in Cairo at the time. So,
Yeah,
that's
100%.
why it's called a Mamluk sword.
By the way, one of our moderators, Michael Digman, Lieutenant Commander Michael Digman, United States Navy. I will just tell you this right now, he's the go-to guy if you've got big questions about military stuff. He's brilliant, by the way. He's a brilliant man. All my moderators are brilliant. They're all smart guys.
Well, that's cool because, again, I'm in this stuff a little bit, and not a lot of people know that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you have great familiarity with all of this.
But I'm gonna say something that I think kind of plays into this. It is only when people from the West understand that people from the East are not people from the West that we can stand up and overcome this kind of dynamic. And I think President Trump was one of the first presidents who was actually talking Middle Easternese, as opposed to, and Jefferson was doing the same thing. Now, the United States got pushed into that position back then, and I think the United States is being pushed into the position now. and you have an enemy who's saying, who's playing chicken with us. The only thing that they're playing chicken with a tiny little scooter, and that's the whole thing. But they're saying we're going to play chicken with you, even if you're coming at us with a tank, because we think that you don't have the Western mindset, the Western mentality, the West that we see on the media don't have the, for lack of a better word, the spiritual strength to stand up and push back against us. And that is exactly Iran is playing chicken with the United States right now.
Where do you think Iran stands on this right now? Where do you think Iran is gonna go?
They have no choice. They have no choice. And again, maybe it's a good time to kind of go into what mukawama actually means. But they have no choice but to either die or win. I mean, that it is, and again, we in the West don't really understand that. It is a death cult.
100%.
It is a death cult. We saw this. I don't know if you remember the stories about the Japanese in World War II. Both the kamikazes, but not only the kamikazes. The whole Banzai attacks. I don't know if you remember the stories, or Japanese who were willing to die, for the emperor. I think there was one Japanese guy on some remote island that kept on fighting for another 39 years. And until this, it's a death cult, which means my life is less important than my honor and my tradition. And I think we've got quite a few Iranians that are in the same place. This is the Shiite mindset. Have you ever seen a Shiite ceremony? The ceremony of Karbala.
Yeah, explain this. This is wild. By the way, I want to make myself clear. A lot of people don't know this. In many of the ceremonies that he's actually talking about, it is very much considered a dud, a disgrace, a failure if there is no manifestation of demonic possession. I'm not kidding. Like in a wedding, for example, when you see the context of these types of ceremonies actually taking place, they consider it to be a complete dud. Like it was a failure if there was no demonic possession or manifestation of demonic possession.
So, I mean, this has to be a demonic possession. Again, the whole story of the Shia and the Sunni is that the Shia, the people that the Shia believe should have been the Caliph was murdered in a battle, and they believe that the whole leadership of the Muslim world, and as a result of that, of the rest of the world, was taken away from them, and they mourn, and they actually go into traditional. You know, when the Bible says when you mourn, you put earth on your head, you put ground on your head, and you tear your clothes. They don't tear their clothes; they tear their bodies.
Yep.
And on the traditional day of the Battle of Karbala, they walk through the streets. The men go, barebacked, and they actually whip themselves with little whips, just like the whip that was used against Jesus. Little things with pieces of metal on it.
Stone and metal and rock.
Another thing that they do is they use razors, and they make little. I'm doing this because I've seen them do it. They have open razors like they used to shave people in the past, and they hit their forehead and make these little scratches so the blood runs down their face, and it is considered a tradition among the more religious families to do it to their children.
Yep.
So it is a blood ritual, basically. Meaning, think about hundreds of people walking down the streets with blood running down their faces and down their backs. And that is the dynamic. That is the mentality. And it is people like this who say, we cannot give in to the West. We cannot be defeated if we're willing to lose our lives. And here's the thing. I don't know if you remember in World War II, to get the Japanese would not surrender. There was no such thing as surrender. They had to be totally wiped out, all to the last of them. And I believe to a certain extent, we're going in. I'm not saying all of the Iranians are like that, but I'm going to say out of a population of 95 million, there probably are 20, 25 million people who are in that mindset, who believe that it is their duty.
Do you think it's that high? Do you think of the population? I think Iran's population is what, 97 million?
I think something like
It's
that.
like 95, 97 million. Do you honestly think that it's as many as 25 million that are of this persuasion?
I'm going to say it like this. I heard an Iranian talk about it. He said they believe, more or less, it goes into 25% are completely secular, but 25% are completely religious. I mean, this is the theocratic religious, and the 50% in the middle are the ones that go this way or that way. And he defined it like that. And he said the religious people, now, like any culture, not everybody is willing to die on the hill of the mullahs. But I would say out of the 25 million, I'm going to say there are a couple million people who are standing around the electrical plants right now. And I just now saw a video of some of them standing around the targets that President Trump said he's going to hit, saying, "Come hit us," and and we're going to turn it into a war crime.
You know what disturbs me about that? What disturbs me about that is I don't believe those are images that are being directly sent out by the IRGC. I think those are images that are being sent out by other countries.
First of all, it could be. Second of all, it could be AI. But I'm going to say something else. Let's not forget that there have been death cults like this down through the ages. And a very quick reminder for all of you who read your Old Testament is a Canaanite god called the Molech.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, which was a Canaanite god that wanted human sacrifice, and for many, many years, people sacrificed their children to the Molech. Actually, I know where, in the valley of the son of Hinnom, the valley of Hinnom, in Jerusalem, and I'm saying people do things like this. There are people in the world who do things like that. I think it's crazy. I think it's and here's one of the things, and Christians and Jews would agree with this. Nothing is more important than human life.
Of course.
I mean,
Muslims don't think that.
Muslims don't think that. That's one of the main things that we kind of don't figure out. Now, don't get me wrong. I was having a conversation with Christy this morning. Christianity did, how do you say, raise up martyrdom at some point in its history. I mean, you talk about more traditional Christianity. You talk about the saints and the martyrs, and I think there's a new TV show about the saints and the fact that they were willing to die, and we know people like I think it was Wycliffe who died at the stake for writing a Bible in German, and other martyrs. We can appreciate that as Christians, but I don't think most Christians believe that Jesus wants us all to die in the name of Christianity.
No. But there is a biblical principle that talks about us living our lives sacrificially. And in living our lives sacrificially, oftentimes the consequence of doing so is, of course, death. But this is not the death at the hands of some societal ideation of suicide or homicide, for that matter. That's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with something uniquely and more consequentially different. You are dealing with the deception of Islam that is so extreme and so unique. And I have a hard time not continuing to go back and remind people of the exact words of the Quran. The exact words of the Quran says that Allah is the chief of deceivers. I don't know how, like we have to keep going back to that. وَمَكْرُ مَكْرَ اللَّهُ وَإِلَهُ خَيْرَ الْمَكَرِينَ. Like, what is it that we're missing here, people? They're deceptive.
By definition.
By definition, absolutely. So I will go back to men like Tucker Carlson who are just, they're pure evil.
It came across my feed that he says that Christians cannot be capitalists.
Right.
Or somebody said it on
I'll
the show.
show you. I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you because it goes to speak to the bigger issue. This isn't just Jew-hating Tucker Carlson, and he is a Jew-hater. This isn't God-hating Tucker Carlson, and he is a God-hater. Okay? It's a bigger issue than that. Let me see here.
again, since we are going to talk about Tucker a little bit, don't you think he's just the little? Who is this guy?
This is the guy that Tucker Carlson was talking to about this issue.
Well,
and I don't even know who he is.
I don't even know who he is, and I haven't heard a word he
his
said.
name is Nathan. His name is Nathan something. He's like some documentary maker. And the guy is evil. Okay, let me show you the clip. Okay, and if you want to know what Tucker Carlson's real motivation is, okay, I'm going to show this to you. You're going to see it. And I'm gonna prep all of you guys. It's gonna make you sick. Okay, so let me expand this out here. Okay, and look at. Let me see here. I know he's bugged out, man.
Look at his eyes.
The guy is psycho. Okay, the guy is psycho. But look at how Tucker just openly agrees. Oh, I just reset this thing. Oh, that's not good. Hold on a second. I will find the spot again. Right here. It is, yep, right here. Okay. Watch what's said. Pay attention to where this guy is. This is dark. Like this is demonic. Listen.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're doing it unconsciously. Whether that be the idea of tithing, whether that be Zionism and Israel, it all tilts towards protecting the status quo of the institution.
Boy, you see.
So he says that tithing. Matter of fact, let's go back a little bit so you can hear the context of what he's saying. It's evil. He is targeting Christians like us, like completely targeting Christians. He is in essence saying stuff about us as believers that is like it's unbelievable. Okay, but let's go back and play it, and you guys will see what I'm talking about. Here we go.
A lot of
Quickly is the fastest way to create YouTube thumbnails.
I got to get rid of the commercials.
Another
That's
wave
so
of
bad.
missiles in Israel right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, take a listen to this.
faith, of course, you are a Christian, but is the structure.
I hate the fact that Tucker Carlson calls himself a Christian.
Okay, no,
Because he's not.
No, it's more than that. He's waiving his Christianity. He's using his Christianity to give him credibility, and that is. By the way, it's something similar to what I see with Jews waiving their Judaism to be anti-Zionist.
Yeah, and he's there's nothing about Tucker that's Christian. Not a lick about Tucker. There is zero. I don't see any Christianity in Tucker. Tucker is perhaps one of the most sophisticated liars right now on the internet. Mm-hmm. Okay, literally. But take a listen to this. Watch this.
That corrupts by its nature. It's like almost, I think you said to me this morning, it's like almost impossible to get out of this without being corrupted if you're leading a church with a structure like that.
Correct.
Is that fair?
100%. It's
so if you're a church that leads a structure where we support the state of Israel as the Bible mandates us to, it creates a system that is so corrupt. And all the things that you do in church that's biblical feeds into the corrupt mechanism, which, by the way, is what he says is organized religion. He says the corruption is Christianity. Listen to this. Listen to this.
I say that you can go in with the best of intentions, but if there's no external accountability on the system, that system will inevitably eat you alive and corrupt you. Your sermons, your messaging will all tilt to protect that institution. And I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're doing it unconsciously, whether that be the idea of tithing, whether that be Zionism and Israel, it all tilts towards protecting the status quo of the institution.
Boy, you see this in all institutions, though. Isn't the point of every institution over time to protect and enlarge the institution itself?
100%.
That is the mission.
But that's not true. Tucker is lying. He's characterizing one particular lie that he is trying to get everybody to stipulate to with respect to the corruption in an institution and how the corruption in that institution carries itself forward, without being honest enough to say that every single institution that is being discussed within this societal mechanism has to be evaluated on its own characteristics. It's not happening here. Tucker is bundling them all in so that it sounds more believable to the audience. he is widening the attack vector on Christianity. Guys, I want everybody to see this. Tucker is attacking me here. Tucker is attacking any pastor that believes the church or believes the word of God.
I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Let's see if I can kind of add on something that he's just now triggered in me. A lot of us are connected to organizations or dynamics that have a mission or a calling behind them. A church has a calling. A mission has a calling. Things that have a calling. Now, always there's this I'm going to say tension between the need for resources in order to fulfill the calling, or is the calling a reason to accumulate resources? I call it the core of the issue. A church needs resources in order to function, but it is functioning not in order to gather resources, but in order to function as a church.
Yeah, no. Look,
and
Tucker,
not the other way around.
No, you're 100% right. Let me rephrase what you're saying, because what you're saying is completely true. It comes out of a place of solid awareness of the real issue. Tucker Carlson is attacking Christianity. Tucker Carlson is making the regular things that we do within the church to sound as though illegal. And that is I think that is the issue that has to be discussed. Tucker Carlson is not only attacking Christianity, Tucker Carlson is attacking the Bible. Tucker Carlson, in this same video that we're talking about here, this same video, Tucker Carlson argues that President Trump is the Antichrist.
Okay.
Not kidding.
I've heard that one before.
I'm not kidding. Tucker is grasping at every straw under his false humility to create a picture not only of the president, but of me. See, the thing is this. Tucker is attacking men like me. But Tucker does not have the intellectual prowess to understand the consequential significance by which the Bible speaks regarding this issue. And if he does, he's more evil than I thought.
Okay. But what I want to stress is part of the dynamic. I'm going to call it the dynamic of the snake, where he takes something that does happen, some kind of truth, and he subverts it or twists it.
No, he doesn't
to be
say
an
it's a
evil.
satanic thing.
Let me say if I can explain. Okay, think about how he would say it like this. He would say, "Wait a minute, churches collect an offering in the service." Now, there's two ways to look at this. You could say, oh, the whole church exists in order to collect the offerings. Or you can say the offerings are collected in order for the church to continue to share the gospel. Now, what Tucker is doing is, again, the offerings are being collected. That is the truth. The question is, do you subvert it? This is what Satan does. Do you subvert a truth and turn it into a negative?
But see, the problem is this. He's not attacking tithing, which, by the way, the old covenant, if you wanted to stick to tithing, like I hear these people, oh, this church demands that you tithe 10%. If you wanted to go according to Old Testament tithing, then you would be required to give to the church roughly 23.5%. In the New Testament, we are taught to give as cheerful givers and whatever the Lord places upon our hearts. Now, for me, personally, I started 10%. That's just me. But anybody can do whatever they feel called by God to do. And quite frankly, as the pastor of my church, I don't want anybody tithing who does not want to tithe. I absolutely have no desire for anybody to come to my church and give when their heart is in the wrong place, because all they're doing is setting themselves up for judgment. But what Tucker is doing is it's deeper than that. Tucker is taking tithing, he's taking what he calls Zionism as a bad word, and he is taking eschatologically sound believers like us and he is using it as an avenue to attack capitalism, to attack the American way of life.
Yep.
Tucker is not a well-meaning person.
Not only the American, the Western way of life. I mean,
The Western way of life.
The Judeo-Christian Western way of life. Now, my question is this. Is he doing this intentionally because he is pushing an agenda?
I believe Tucker Carlson is 100% intentional.
Okay, do you remember the kid in school that always had to be different? When the teacher says we
That's
all
not
need to
Tucker.
go, we all need to go on a straight line. He says, "I'm not going to go on a straight line."
That's not Tucker.
You don't think that's
Nope.
him?
Nope.
By the way,
Nope.
there's a word in Hebrew. I mean, I'm going to probably do a video about it one day. There's a word in Hebrew that's called dafka. Dafka means in spite.
Yeah.
Against.
Yeah, that's not Tucker.
And this. Sometimes I feel like he is that kid
Nope.
in school that always said, "Oh, you say that we have to wear white on this holiday? No, I'm going to wear black and see what's going to happen."
Yep. That is him, not him. Listen to what he goes on to say, because he's about to attack capitalism. Okay, watch this.
That's the need for reform in everything. The Bible story is so beautiful because it's a story of birth, death, and resurrection over and over. And Christ talks about when the seed falls, it has to die in the soil
Yes.
for rebirth. But what we've created is
The characterization of a seed falling into the ground being the reiteration of birth, death, resurrection is fundamentally unsound. Not only is it unsound, it's hugely mischaracterizing, because what he is doing is he is simplifying the mechanism from nature with or reducing the mechanism of nature with a tool that he can use as the vector or the straw man by seeking to sound beautiful, because he's comparing it to the resurrection, because it's Easter. because it's resurrection themed. That's what he's doing here. And you're going to see this, because what he's about to talk about is going to be a direct repudiation to every principle that he just talked about or just mentioned when it comes to resurrection.
Is it
And
just,
this is heavy, but that's what's about to happen here.
is it just me, or the level of his guess is going down?
Oh, no. Listen, all of them have the agenda to bring their deception into fruition, that people might be able to believe the lies that they're communicating. Tucker has an agenda with the people that he brings on. He is bringing on liars.
No.
Because he's a liar. Listen to this guy. Listen to this.
structure that can't die. We can't reform this because too many people feed off the system. There's too many parasites. But if we killed systems...
He's referring to the church as parasites. He's referring to these people who give to the church infrastructure as those who propagate or maintain the existence of these parasites. And now he comes from the death, the planting, the death, the resurrection, to now his justification for why he says the church should be killed. That's what he's saying. He is basically saying the church should be killed. The very body of Christ. That is his statement. Now watch. He's going to move into Marxist territory here. You will see Karl Marx coming out of his mouth right now, and then you're going to see Tucker Carlson praising him for doing it. Tucker Carlson is going to praise him. Watch this.
Formed them, which we need for new birth and regrowth, then people lose power. People, lose their control. And it's baked into human nature.
And loss of power and control is a prerequisite for for religious transformation, for letting God take control.
Correct. And he's a liar. Loss of power and control is a prerequisite for experiencing God transformation. In the book of Acts, it is the yielding of your will to the Lord and the receiving of power. The Greek word dunamis, it's the same word that we get dynamite from, that creates the transformation. So Tucker says it's the loss of it, which is distinctly Marxist. And you're going to see it, because watch, you're going to see the buzzword being thrown out here. Just watch this.
Yeah. So that's a big deal. Christ literally gave up all control and hung on a cross. And this is one place
And again, I want you to hear that one more time.
Wait a minute, he did not
Listen,
give up
listen, yeah,
control.
listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to the heresy. Listen to the heresy.
Literally gave up all control and hung on a cross.
Christ yielded no control. Christ yielded zero. Christ yielded his will to the Father and walked in obedience. And I would argue that it was the mechanism of discipline and self-control that caused Christ to walk as effective as he did.
I mean, love, he did it out of love?
100%.
He did it out of love. Isn't that control?
That's 100%. It was calculated. This is the guy who buys into the lie that you hear concerning the reckless love of God. It's a lie. So listen to what he goes on to say, because watch, it's coming. You're going to understand why they're saying all this.
Okay.
He's bringing all this Marxist garbage up because he's about to throw in the buzzword. Are you ready? Watch this.
And this is one place I want to get to, whether you're a Christian, my 160 million self-professed American Christians out there, my brothers and sisters out there, we can see the Bible as the word of God. And I can speak to it on that. My atheist and agnostic friends, let's see it as a history book. And today I want to talk with you about when he said it is finished on the cross, the last words that came out of his mouth, he meant it. So if you're a Christ follower, we're going to break down a lot of scriptures that you, depending on your theological approach, you will have to say it isn't finished. And so that's what I want to get into. And power structure is one of them. When he hung on that cross, he broke all power structures. He is the only way, the truth, and the life. And no one gets to Jehovah the Father except through him.
He broke all power structures when he was crucified on the cross.
There were power structures after that.
Bro, he is cuckoo.
No, but it is.
And then later on he actually says, which is like really, really scary, but later on he'll go so far as to actually say that capitalism is evil. And he'll say that it's distinctly not Christian. He will literally go so far as to say that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to find the clip where he brings this up so that you can hear it. But he's building the argument for that.
Okay, so Tucker is in this place, and he is going to find the people around him that have this weird dynamic. Okay, where is he going with this? What is he trying to do? And somebody actually mentioned J.D. Vance's son in the connection here.
Yeah, Buckley. Yep.
Or
not J.D. Vance's son. Tucker
Tucker's
Carlson.
son
Tucker
works
Carlson's
for
son
J.D. Vance.
Works for J.D. Vance.
How is this going to work? I mean, where is this going to go?
Yeah. Look, this is designed to destroy the Western and American way of life.
Who is getting who is getting the proceeds off of this? What is he advancing? What is he pushing? Where is he going with this?
I don't know the whole picture as into what's like how he's being funded in this respect. I think this goes like completely against that.
I'm not talking about the funding. I'm talking about what is the objective? The objective is to break the moral code of the United States of America, to devaluate the Judeo-Christian values that this whole thing was built upon. Is that what he's trying to do? Because it seems like it is. It seems like he wants people to think that, oh, the fact that you're a Christian, you're part of America, you're part of the West, there's nothing good about that. There's something very negative. And again, we're going to the horseshoe kind of theory, where the far left and the far right are meeting in this anti-Western, anti-Judeo-Western, kind of dynamic.
Yeah, listen to what he says. Watch this. This will help you understand. The next 30 seconds, just listen to this.
What we apply to it.
Right.
And so we've taken traditions of men and call it doctrine. One of those traditions is the legal architecture of the nonprofit sector, and then the religious exemptions applied to all churches, mosques, temples, you name it. They play by the same rules in America. That legal architecture, there's only one conclusion to it, and that's corruption. There's only one. When you look at how it's structured, there's no external accountability from an exterior source to hold the institution accountable. The government does not hold religious institutions accountable. So what it means is we hold ourselves accountable. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard scripturally. Like, we can't hold, should we just sit around and be like, hey, Tucker, you and I, we've got $1 million sitting on this table. What should we do with it? Well, let's just hold each other accountable with what we're going to do with it.
See, but the problem is, the problem is, and actually this guy makes me so sick. We'll just leave it be. The problem is he's playing off the emotion of many people who have gone to churches where open corruption has actually happened.
Yeah.
Where there's no accountability. The problem is that the church not only is accountable, but the church happens to be the most purifying influence that exists within any societal norm. He's failing to mention that. He's failing to mention that the $1 million isn't just some $1 million that's taken because of some function of taxation. The $1 million that he's talking about as the example is $1 million of a group of people who say, Lord, I'm giving to you. And we're trusting that as the body of Christ, we're going to use it to glorify God.
He's walking the line, I think, that is I'm looking for this.
I am going to find, let me see if I can find this.
Okay, I can't help this. James, give me a minute. Okay, I'm in Genesis 3, verse 4. And the serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die, for God knows that in the day that you eat of it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." The serpent doesn't lie to her. He twists the truth.
Yes.
And we see that right here.
I mean, he lies to her.
Yes,
But he's
okay.
but I
He
mean, but I
says-
understand what
he's
you're saying.
the truth,
Right.
For God knows. He's actually quoting God. God
Right.
knows that you're not going to.
That's right.
You're going to die. Okay, but your eyes will be open, and what he's saying, what Tucker is saying, is this: I'm going to show you the real truth, not the truth that God told you. I'm going to show you the real truth. Your eyes are going to be open in a way that only I can open your eyes. By the way, Kaddis is saying the same thing. Only I can show you the real truth on this. And here's the same thing. He is saying, I will show you the truth. What is Satan saying to Eve here? He's saying, I have a truth that you don't know. Here, I'm going to open your eyes. And I think this is the whole dynamic of what we're seeing here. This kid, who's never actually run a church in his life, is sitting here and saying, I'm going to tell you the truth about this. I'm going to tell you the truth about that. And I'm seeing this more and more on so many different levels. By the way, I'm seeing this in the whole story of Israel. I'm going to tell you what Israel is doing. I'm going to explain to you, my truth is better than your truth. And again, we're at the same place. James, we're at the same place. Truth is relevant. And more than anything, all the different aspects that we're seeing here is a war on truth as much as it is a war about the certain issues. This stupid idiot has no idea what he's talking about.
No.
He has no idea.
No. And by the way, let me just point this out. In this video, he actually edited it out because he did not want the quote to come out and people to examine it more.
Oh.
But let me play to you the quote that was actually said here. Okay? And I'm gonna bring it up because it's worthy of being played back. Because in the interview that millions of people initially heard, this is where he got to with it. Listen to this. Okay, you ready? Take a listen.
The Democratic Republic is the greatest government experiment
in the history of humanity. I would say
I've enjoyed it.
You've
Yeah,
enjoyed it. Yeah. So we enjoy it. I love America. You love America.
I do.
Capitalism should not be anywhere near Christianity.
You think?
Christianity is more, and I don't like the word socialist with the weight it carries, but Christianity is socialism at its core.
Non-authoritarian.
It's the marker to build social capital. You look at that early Church of Acts, and it transformed Rome within a couple hundred years, the greatest superpower of its time, to where Constantine was like, I'm a Christian hanging out with these dudes. They had no money, they had no buildings, but somehow the love of their neighbor transformed the greatest superpower of its time. That's dangerous. I would actually argue, and this is a bold statement, a democratic republic is the greatest government experiment in the history of humanity. I would say
I've enjoyed it.
You've
Yeah,
enjoyed it. Yeah. So we enjoy it. I love America. You love America.
I do.
Capitalism should not be anywhere near Christianity.
You think?
I want everybody to understand this. Okay?
You think?
When socialism was shown to us in the book of Acts, it failed. It failed. It didn't work. He's a liar. Tucker is a liar. Tucker stripped this. He took this out of his original interview.
I think it was Josh Goldberg who wrote a book about the war on the West, and basically he comes down to the main, discrepancy, or the main battle between the mindset of Jean-Jacques Rousseau on one side and John Locke on the other side. Now, Jean-Jacques Rousseau is the philosophical, basis for socialism, and John Locke is the philosophical basis for capitalism. And basically, the core tenement of Jean-Jacques Rousseau is that men are good and beautiful, and it is society that corrupts them. And we have to try to return ourselves to these core values that men have. Jean Locke said exactly the opposite. Men are sinful and harmful, and we need society, to control their sinful nature, and in some point even kind of bastion or create the society controls against our internal sinful nature. Do you understand that socialism, by definition, is a worship of man? Is the worship of the
Secular
nature
humanism.
of men. It is secular humanism. Capitalism takes in consideration that we are broken creatures. And we need to function in a world of broken creatures, so we need to put guidelines that will allow these broken creatures to be able to live together with each other. He is this, this noble savage kind of dynamic, where in the past it was the good people, and our our core ideal is to be noble people, which is totally wrong. And by the way, if you want truth, that we are terrible sinners, think about the fact that we live in a society where our nature gets turned into an algorithm, and look what the algorithm, based on our own sinful nature, is raising up through the cracks in the rocks. I think there's no more proof than that. But again, there is going to be a fight against us, and this is going to be the half-truth that Satan is using against God's people. And I want you not to be deceived.
Yep.
I want you to see this and understand how this is going, how this is happening, how I can take something that is nominally truth. Okay? I'll give you another example. Remember the whole thing about the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Israel is closing off the Church of the Holy Sepulchre because they want to crush Christianity. nothing was further than truth. But it was true that the church was closed for the ceremonies, and it was closed just like the wall was closed and just like the synagogues were closed because the country was looking out for the safety of the people, but it got turned into a natural and it got turned into a sinful act.
That's right.
This is what we're doing, and we see this again and again and again.
Yep. And just like listen to how bad this gets. Okay? Because what Tucker is about to do is frame something completely differently, and we'll go back to the Iran issue because it all matters. This all came out because of Iran.
Yeah.
This guy hates Jews. He actually hates God. But watch this. Listen to what he says
wait
here.
a minute. Let me tag on to what you just now said. He hates Jews, and you say he actually hates God.
Yep.
I'm going to say something very clear. Hatred of the Jews is hatred of God.
100%.
That it is the same thing.
100%.
It comes from the same place. If you hate the Jews, and here's the thing, I'm not saying the Jews always do right, and I'm not saying, I mean, again, I'd be the first one, and the Bible actually backs me up that we do a lot of things wrong. But there's a difference between hating us because of who we are. The only reason to hate us because of who we are is because we hate God. And that is, let's make this clear, a Christian cannot be anti-Semitic. You cannot be Christian if you're anti-Semitic. I mean, it just doesn't work.
It's a total truth. It's a total truth. Listen to this. Look what he says here.
Is it possible that what you're watching is a very stealthy yet incredibly effective attack on what, from a Christian perspective, is the true faith, belief in Jesus? Is that what really is under attack here? Maybe that's what's been under attack for a long time, maybe our whole lifetime. Maybe almost everything we see is an attack on that faith, the one faith that is always attacked, always and everywhere for 2,000 years. Many faiths have been attacked. Many religious people of different religions have been killed over the past 2,000 years. But there's been only one sustained effort to exterminate a faith, and that's the Christian faith.
What?
Could that be part of it? And is it possible that the president sees this not just in geostrategic terms and military terms,
Listen to this.
economic terms,
Listen
got to
to
open
this.
this straight? Okay.
Listen to this.
Is it possible the president sees this in bigger terms? Sees this as the fulfillment of something or the elevation to some higher office beyond President of the United States? That's entirely possible.
When he says higher office beyond the president of the United States, he's saying, does the president see this as his opportunity to do what he's eventually going to characterize as the Antichrist doing? He's making a reference. He's leaving it to you to create the inference that the president is the Antichrist.
Go back, do that again. I need to hear that again.
There's been only one sustained effort to exterminate a faith, and that's the Christian faith. Could that be part of it?
That's not wrong, the Christian faith. But
is it
but
possible that the president sees this not just in geostrategic terms and military terms and economic terms, got open and straight? Okay. Is it possible the president sees this in bigger terms? Sees this as the fulfillment of something or the elevation to some higher office beyond President of the United States? That's entirely possible. And that's not an attack, but it's also not a guess. Because at every turn since the inauguration last January, there have been religious leaders on the scene telling us out loud. Most of us ignored it because we're just so secular, we just sort of ignore it. Got some sleazy Southern Baptist preacher who says whatever for money. Okay, got it.
See how he characterizes those of us that teach Bible prophecy?
No, he's turned anybody, and he's actually turning President Trump into some kind of more than the president of the United States kind of boogeyman. Some kind of
That's exactly what he's doing.
He's actually laying the groundwork to turning it into some mystical how do you say, alternative motive, spiritual motive.
I actually think that he's implying that the president is acting like the Antichrist.
No, he didn't say it, but he said one step further to that.
Right, yeah, right. Like, he didn't use the term. He didn't use the term Antichrist here.
Yeah, but he said the president is not doing this only for political reasons. There are, how do you say, religious, he didn't say spiritual, he said religious reasons, okay? And the fact that there are Christians around him, meaning that they're pushing him to something greater than just the president of the United States.
Well, and then he jumps in with the whole sleazy Southern Baptist. Well, that's sleazy Southern Baptist. Why? Because he is seeking to create a characterization of biblical eschatology as being not only fringe, but as actually being crazy, evil, fanatical, to the point where he will defend the position of Islam over embracing what the Bible says concerning the last days.
So his followers, the people who are sitting down and listening to him, are saying, oh, wait a minute, we thought President Trump was for America. Now we believe he might be some kind of demon pushing a religious agenda.
Right.
And now, I mean, it's going to be somebody who buys into that who's going to take a shotgun and try to pull it off again.
Right. Right. And it's amazing how deceived people are. We even have a person in the chat. I've lost all respect for you, Pastor James, because you're completely twisting what Tucker Carlson is saying. You're probably one of the same people that watch Candace Owens as well. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm gonna just say this. Okay. Should we talk about the tweet that the president put out the other day, since everybody is still writing on that?
Somebody mentioned it just now.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Because there is so much to say about what he did in that tweet. That tweet, by the way, was extraordinarily calculated. There was nothing about that tweet that was not calculated. We talked about this, by the way, when we recorded Countdown to Eternity.
Yeah, we talked about it last night. He is triggering the other side, and he's doing it in a very calculated way.
100%. That message, that tweet was not designed for Americans. It wasn't designed for Europeans. It was designed for one group of people, the Iranians. Especially the way he said, praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah was a very specific way of completely trolling the God of Islam. Keep this in mind. The only people that say praise be to Allah are the black Muslim movement.
Somebody said he was mocking the Muslims. Yes, he was.
I mean, that's the thing, and I think that the issue here, because keep in mind, these Shiites, they hate the black Muslim movement, number one. So it was a little dig that way, but perhaps more consequentially and more significantly, when he said, praise be to Allah, he was in essence creating a characterization in front of them that as the president of the United States, he will not be moved by their false god. And by the way, for everybody that says he was completely out of line for mocking Allah, have we forgotten for even 1 second what Elijah did when he mocked the prophets of Baal? Have we forgot about David and Goliath?
About Moses talking about the gods of Egypt.
100%.
We just now went through that.
These are all discussions that we have to have these discussions.
Yeah. Why did David go out against Goliath, like you said? He didn't say because of political reasons. He didn't say this. It says because he mocked God, and I'm going to show that my God is bigger than his God.
100%. How dare you mock the armies of the true and living God? He knew it. I mean, he went as far. I mean, Elijah went as far as to say, "Is your God busy?" Oh, are you okay? I had a feeling that would happen, brother. I'm so sorry. David's okay. False alarm.
It certainly did.
I'm sorry, brother.
Thank you.
That was not fun to watch.
Did you watch it?
It looked way worse because I was scared that was going to happen.
I got it. Okay,
Oh.
sorry, you guys. Pen fell down on the floor, and I took a hard way going down to get it. So.
That was hard to watch. Oh. Okay.
Can we talk about this evening?
That was not Allah judging you, by the way.
Oh, come on.
Oh. So,
I need a recording of that.
well, it's permanently. You'll see it. It's there. It's there. Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah.
I want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, fine.
You're not like I'm going to be sore tomorrow.
No, I
Okay,
mean nothing
praise God.
bumped.
Yeah, praise God. You know how to fall. That's for sure.
Well, that's
I watched
true.
you do that. You like, wow, that was great. He balled himself up like a roly poly. If that was me, we'd be waiting for the fire department. The live broadcast would end, and we'd be waiting for the fire department to come get me.
Oof.
Okay, let's switch a little bit, and let's go right back to what's going to happen with Iran.
Mm.
What do you think the president is going to do at 8 p.m. Eastern time?
I think he's not going to go all out. I think he's going to bomb a couple of power stations, a couple of transformations, a couple of gas stations, and he's going to say, okay, here I come. I don't think, I mean, he's talking about wiping out the civilization and they're never going to be reborn or never going to be rebuilt. I don't think he's going to do it. What do you think?
I think I don't know. And I think that's exactly what the president wants. I think the president wants them to legitimately, genuinely think that he's tipsy and crazy enough to actually do it.
That's what well, no, he is trying to make him think that he's crazy. He's definitely doing that. He's definitely said, in Israel, I don't know if you guys do this. He's doing this when there's two parties that are about to have a fight. One of them says, hold me, because if you don't hold me, I'm going to smash them to smithereens.
Yeah, and he wants to be held.
I don't know if you remember that, on the playground.
Oh, yeah.
And basically
Of
he's
course.
saying, tell me to back down because I'm going to really do it. Okay, there you go, Pokey. I went tipsy. I like that.
I think that we're at the Barbary Coast. In other words, I think the Strait of Hormuz is a repeat of what Jefferson had to face on the African coast.
So, he sent the Marines into Tripoli.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I want to say something else, though, and we haven't talked about. Listen, there is a danger. And maybe the story of the F-16 pilot that we talked. Did we talk about it last week when we were here? I don't think we talked.
No,
about it.
because that had not happened
It
yet.
had not happened.
No.
So we all know the story of the F-15 that was F-15E that was shot
Strike
down.
Eagle.
That was shot down. The pilot. There's a pilot and a weapons officer or a Wizzo.
They're called a Wizzo.
Wizzo.
Yeah.
That were on the plane. The pilot actually landed and was very quickly picked up in full daylight. But
Which is unbelievable, by the way.
but the Wizzo was wounded on landing, and he landed a little bit further away, and there was a race because the Iranians wanted to get their hand on him, and for all kinds of reasons. And I can't help but say the deja vu.
Oh, yeah.
And in 1982, an Israeli Phantom went down over Lebanon. Phantom had 2 crew members. The pilot was extracted immediately, but we would call them navigators back then, or Wizzos. Okay, the backseat was captured by some villagers. and then handed over to the PLO, to the Palestine Liberation Organization. His name is Ron Arad, and anybody Israeli knows that name and shivers
We all do. Yeah.
because he was lost.
Yep.
And he was moved from place to place, and he was later literally used as a bargaining chip in a couple of the things. He ended up in Syria, later on back in Lebanon, and we don't know where he is now. We don't know where he's buried. We don't know how he died. We don't know when he died.
There was talks of him being found in this last around the time of Operation Grim Reaper, if you remember.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember, they kidnapped a Hezbollah operative from inside Beirut, meaning literally landed, put him on a chopper somewhere, took him to the beach, put him on a ship, and brought him. And his interrogation led to a cemetery in a Shiite village in Lebanon. They sent in a very special unit that landed in helicopters in the middle of the night, went in and dug up the cemetery. Literally dug up the cemetery. They had a couple of forensic doctors with them on the team that they actually checked the forensic remains of some of the bodies that they dug up, hoping that one of them would be Ron Arad. Hoping that one of them would be Ron Arad. Sadly, it wasn't. So, sadly, none of the bodies that they dug up were Ron Arad. So, he is still lost to us. By the way, Ron Arad and Eli Cohen are two stories that we have kind of locked in our psychic of the sadness of losing somebody who hasn't come. So, this Wizzo, this colonel, by the way, he was a colonel. He was meaning he was more than just a crewman on the aircraft. He was part of the dynamic. He would have been an amazing asset for the Iranians, both from an intelligence point of view and also from a propaganda. Think about him being marched through the streets of Tehran in humiliation. That would have brought the United States into a terrible, terrible frenzy. Now let's make this clear. I think something like 1,400 sorties have taken place over the skies of Iran. You don't send 1,400 sorties into hostile airspace. And even if he didn't get shut down, you're gonna have a plane that a fuel line disconnects. You're gonna have, I mean, things happen. I mean, with this kind of amount of work, I mean, any kind of organization is going to have something that falls. The fact that it hasn't happened till now, but here's the thing: the operation that brought him out is proof of American power more than anything else.
That's right.
The rescue mission actually is proof that we have the ability to extract pilots. By the way, we know the Israelis have done a couple of things, and some of the long range air kind of rescues, including the whole story of Entebbe. If you don't know what that is, check it out now. I mean, all of these mean that America has a power above and beyond.
Which the Entebbe story,
You talked to his brother.
Yeah, that story is remarkable. That story is one that has not been told enough, in my opinion. And every single Israeli soldier alive has been deeply affected by Yoni in one way or another.
Okay, so
all of them have read his letters.
So you say Yoni, explain what you're talking about.
So what I'm talking about is Jonathan Netanyahu, who was the only Israeli soldier that was killed in Entebbe. Idi Amin was in power at the time. Evil, evil, evil man. And there were a lot of Jewish hostages that were in country, and it was the general perception of the Israeli government that there could not be a successful operation to bring those people back. And if I remember correctly, it was Shimon Peres that called in Yoni and said,
Can we do this?
is this possible? And he sits them down and he briefs them and he says, I believe we can do it. And the way that they entered into this base where they were being held was remarkable. They in essence, imitated some of the officials that were there that were guarding. They had weapons with silencers. And they actually thought they were going to be able to cleanly pull them out and almost did. As a matter of fact, when Yoni was killed, he was killed while, in essence, being in the back of the cargo plane on the way, or maybe in the back of the truck.
No, I think he was on
being
the tarmac.
on the way on the tarmac,
He
maybe
was
on the tarmac,
loading them up, and
on the way out.
Somebody stuck his head out. But let's make this clear. Uganda is like 3,000 miles away from Israel.
100%.
And they literally, just like they did in this operation here, they landed a couple of C-130s, Hercules aircraft, on the airfield. Inside was a replica of the limousine of Idi Amin Dada.
It's just amazing, by the way.
And they drove into the
Amazing.
airport and said this, and then they took out the terrorists who were holding the hostages, who were from a Palestinian organization. But one of the Ugandan soldiers stuck his head up in, I think, the guard tower, the control tower, and literally shot Yoni on the tarmac before they managed to extract everything. But they loaded everything on the planes and they got out just like they did here. What I'm trying to say is, sometimes, when you dare and you go to the edge, but this ability or this capability, and again, we came to this from the place of this could have gone terribly wrong. That colonel could have been paraded through Iran as a show of Iranian power and not as a show of Iranian, I'm going to say, for lack of a better word, inability even to defend its own airspace. And
it was a remarkable thing. And the reason why Yoni sits in the heart of literally every single Jewish soldier is because of the letters that he wrote. And as a matter of fact, his brother, Ido Netanyahu, was the one that published those letters in a book that he wrote, which, by the way, I interviewed Ido last week. It was a great interview. You should go back and watch it. I love it when he talks about Yoni. His writing on Yoni is probably the best out there. Pretty amazing.
Well, first of all, Nancy, thank you. I'm still laughing about that roll in the dirt here. Two, I'm going to say this, just so people get the idea. Benjamin Netanyahu is the brother of Yonatan Netanyahu, who was the commander of the Entebbe raid, who is the brother of Ido Netanyahu that was on James' show when?
Yeah, last week.
Last week.
Yep. He's become a friend.
Yeah.
He's a very special guy. I mean, I really like him. I think he's very, very smart. And he has a very unique personality that I think is like it's wild. Like the guy goes and gets his medical degree and starts working as a physician and says this is boring. So he takes up writing plays because he thinks that's more challenging.
I heard a statistic. Do you know more books are written in Hebrew in Israel than any other nation per capita?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, I'm
not surprised. It doesn't surprise me.
More books per capita in Israel. I mean, per population.
That wouldn't surprise me one bit.
In Hebrew. Oh.
I mean, speaking of like people who write in Hebrew and do a really good job, another one that just does an amazing job is my friend Gadi Taub.
Opa,
he's brilliant. He's brilliant, and I interviewed Gadi last week as well, and we did an interview.
So one of the things I want to stress is that people have been asking me, where do I get good news about Check the I-24.
I-24 is a great...
I-24, you can get it online, you can get it live, you can get it in English and in Hebrew. And Gadi Taub is a regular on I-24. Okay, and he does a really good. Gadi Taub, again, is one of those, we're hearing more and more of them in Israeli culture, by the way, me included, who started off on the left and ended up on the right.
Yeah. And Gadi really, really blessed me. Did you see the end of our interview?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't see the end of our interview?
No.
So, just remind me to talk to you about it afterwards.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about it offline. It's gonna blow your mind.
No,
I'm gonna
God
show
is
it to
good
you.
people.
Yeah, I'm gonna show it to you. He's a man that I just love immensely. I just love him immensely. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna read some of the super chats. And David, you take a look at the
I'm looking
questions.
at questions. Do you think that we will speak Hebrew in heaven? James.
Yes,
Hebrew?
probably.
Yalla.
I mean,
So, start learning-
I mean, that's kind of what I think. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Start learning Hebrew.
I don't know.
Okay, so here's my question to you. If you guys are listening to me, if I put up let's say a Zoom conference once a week and we kind of go through Hebrew words and Hebrew passages, how many of you would like to be online on something like that?
It'd be too big for you to handle. Meaning, you'd have 20,000 people on there. How would you take questions?
I don't know. I mean, I take a couple of passages or take a couple of terms in Hebrew that when you read your Bible in Hebrew, it kind of makes much more sense.
In
and
a
kinda-
Zoom class, bro, you would get a zillion people on that thing.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking. I'm kind of contemplating.
I say go for it as long as I get the front seat. That'd be great.
Okay.
I
Let's
think
see.
I don't think there's anybody who would say no to that. Look, they're all going yes, 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 yes. Look at that.
Cool. Maybe I'll get it going.
That's I guarantee you.
You think I could pull it off?
You think I could pull it?
It's
You
not-
could pull it
I'm
off.
not
You
gonna
could
do-
pull it off and you're asleep, bro.
I'm not going to do Hebrew lessons. I'd like to take terms like
Yeah, I know what you're thinking.
take the Lord's Prayer and do it in Hebrew, and it has a little bit of difference of meanings. There are words in Hebrew have meanings, and one of the classic examples that I always like to use is Adam, as in
Yeah.
Adam and Eve,
Yep.
and then soil, land, ground is Adamah.
Yeah.
And God says, from Adamah you came, to Adamah you return. He actually uses the word Adam inside that.
Yep.
And the last one is the word blood, which is dam in Hebrew. All are incorporated in the same word.
Yep.
So the first man, soil or ground, earth, okay, and blood all come together. So when God says, Cain's blood is calling to me out of the ground, he actually says, okay, the dam is calling to me out of the Adamah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, only in Hebrew can you make that.
And
kinda
those are the same
connection.
words. In Arabic, we use the same words.
Yep.
Actually, dem is what we say for blood. It's the same thing.
So anyway, I'm thinking maybe doing something like that.
Yeah, I think you'd do great.
It's fun.
You'd be able to do it in your sleep. I think it'd be really. I think that would be probably the least amount of thinking that you do in anything that you do. It'd be a big fat nothing to you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, well, let me read some of these super chats, and then you take a look at the questions, and we'll take a few of them. Okay, Brad. Brad says, praise Jesus, who loved us so much that he willingly took our punishment so we could be called sons and daughters of God. Amen to that. He also I just every time I read Brad's letters, I worry something bad. I'm going to say something that's going to get me in trouble. But
Yeah,
this
you gotta
time
be
he's
careful.
not doing it. He came, he saw, he conquered death and hell. He came, he saw, he is alive and well. He died, he lives, and only he forgives. Beautiful. I love that. Brad goes on to say, oh, you know what? These are old. I'm reading old super chats. Let me see if I can get the updated ones. Wow, that was a weird glitch.
By the way, somebody said that they just Hebrewed some coffee. The word for coffee in Hebrew and the word for coffee in Arabic and the word for coffee in English are all the same.
Cafe.
Cafe.
Yeah.
We say cafe. You would say kahwe?
Yeah, al-ahwa. Ahwa is we'll say that as well. It's just a variant. It's the same thing. Okay. Yeah. I was reading old ones, but Brad's got some new ones here. Okay, here we go. I was reading the parables in Luke 15. I found 4, the lost coin, the lost sheep, the lost son, and the lost pilot.
Oh, that's not bad.
Which, if any of you, well, anyway, that's hilarious. You actually have to be super smart to be able to write something like that. That is just hilarious. Okay. Brad says the rescue of the second pilot was the most impressive rescue scene since the Easter Bunny rescued Flashbang from wandering off. You remember that scene? You remember? Yeah. He's talking about Biden. You remember when Biden? I think it was the very last Easter that he was the president, right? He walks out to the White House just to greet some people, and he starts wandering away. And the Easter Bunny grabs him and brings him back inside the White House. I'm not kidding. That's what Brad is talking about. And I think that's funny. Like, I don't even know how Brad comes up with that kind of humor. I mean, it's hilarious. And it's actually very funny. It's very, very funny. Okay, really enjoyed the Good Friday service. Hebrews is my favorite book, and I love the way you broke down Melchizedekian priesthood. Man, thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
David said he enjoyed it too.
I did too. I was there.
That's good. That's when you have David sitting in service and he says he enjoyed it, that's a total compliment. Jada, thank you so much, sweetheart. You're a blessing. Aloha to you. Gina, saved by grace. Blessings, gentlemen. Waiting on the Lord. You say, God bless new Pastor James and brother David. I am late to the podcast, so I don't know if you saw they're creating a human chain in front of the nuclear sites. Yeah, we talked about that, unfortunately. Annette Oliver, thank you. God bless you. Okay, do you have any questions that you have?
Somebody asked, what does Elisha mean?
Okay.
Eli means my God. And Shah, I would probably, I'm kind of contemplating, but basically would mean the beginning of Yeshua, which means to save.
Yeah.
So it means my God saves.
Yeah.
That would probably be the translation.
I
to
would
that.
guess a variant of Yeshua.
Yeshua.
Yeah.
The Easter Bunny. I mean, somebody said the Easter Bunny was Secret Service.
Oh, it probably was.
I mean,
that's what a lot of people thought. Actually,
was he carrying a 9mm?
Probably no, probably a 223, but a FNN 57. Yeah.
Oh, do they do FN still?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That may have changed. I asked somebody recently. Actually, that, believe it or not, when I was at the White House, I was looking to see if any of them still had any FNNs, and most of them didn't. But
I think they were all Glocks. I think everybody's a Glock now.
Yeah. But I mean, that probably is one of the coolest handguns ever made, I think. Okay. Hunter King, Easy or EJ4ZM. You say it's been a while, James. Do you think people are overreacting to Trump's comment about Iran civilization? No. I mean, are they? Yes, they are overreacting. Sorry, I misunderstood. Do you see that question about Finland, Canada? You see that, David?
No, wait a minute. Question.
This is Awesome 142.
No, I have not heard that, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I haven't heard it either. The question is, Finland and Canada are outlawing the use of Bible verses in courts and government. How soon will it be here in the United States? I didn't know they were doing it. It's already beginning to happen in the United States in some respects.
So Christianity is being pushed down, and other religions are being pushed. Well, I'm going to say Islam is being pushed up because
elevated.
Judaism is not being elevated, and Christianity is not being elevated. Yes, and it is going to get worse. It's not going to get better. And as long as people like Tucker and the followers of Tucker have any kind of political kind of weight, then yes, it's going to get worse.
Yep, 100%. All right.
Okay, this is a special night, and again, 5:00 Pacific time. I'm going to say 8:00. It's something is going to happen.
Yeah.
What is going to happen? I am not sure.
Don't know.
But if I know anything about President Trump and the Israelis as far as this is concerned, we're going to be surprised.
Yep.
So yeah, and pray for Israel. I mean. My mom's going to be sleeping in the bomb shelter tonight.
Ugh. Okay, well, let's do just that. Let's pray for Israel. David, you want to do the honors?
Yes. Avinu Shebashamayim. sit here in awe that we can connect through this technology, and we can talk to so many people, and we can think about how your word impacts what's going on in the world today, how your word indicates what's going on in the world today, and how your word teaches us what is going to go on in the near future. Just thank you for giving us these tools, and giving us your son Jesus, that we just now celebrated, rose from the dead in order to save us all. I pray for the people of Iran. I pray for the people of Iran that are going to go through a terrible ordeal in the next couple of days. I pray for the people of Israel who are under pressure and worried, and all of the people that are sitting around the second Passover tables today that are thinking about, when the siren's going to go on off, and what we're going to do. And I pray that the Prince of Peace himself will come quickly to kind of solve and unravel all of these problems. In whose name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, you guys, we love you. Keep fighting the good fight. Tomorrow's release of Countdown to Eternity is going to feature a very special man,
And
Major David Tall.
And this time I didn't fall.
Poor guy. I almost wanted to say stop, and I figured you weren't going to lean any more forward, and then it happened.
It happened.
It's terrible, man. It's terrible. Okay, we love you guys. God bless you. Keep fighting the good fight. Shalom.